So with all that, I'd like to thank all the speakers for this session, and we're moving on to Q&A. And I would like to invite Mr. Dicky-san back to the screen, and then also KUDO-san from the Ministry of the Environment back to the screen as well. And I just want to pick up one question that were asked by some of the audiences today on the Q&A. And so I think it's something that a lot of audience attendees are interested in. So I thought it would be great for you to sort of respond to that question again live so that everyone can hear more directly from you. So I'd like to start with Dicky-san, if you don't mind. And what I wanted to ask is, so there was a question about the areas or technologies that either Indonesia or Japan will like to see more applied or under the JCM program. So maybe I'll move one more step into that and ask to you, Dicky-san, so you also shared areas and technologies that I think a potential collaboration during your presentation, and you listed a number of things: solar panels, energy efficiency, energy storage, CCUS, and transport sectors. But what are the areas that you'd like to see under JCM that would particularly contribute to Indonesia's NDC more most effectively? I think Indonesia updated your NDC last year, and I think you have ambition of reducing up to 41% by 2050. So if you could share your thoughts on that, what are the areas that will contribute to your achieving your NDC?
Yeah, it is a very tricky question because we have a lot of technologies for reducing the emission. But if you ask me what will be the appetite of the Indonesia government and the Japan government for the carbonization technology, so I can answer that. First is the energy efficiency. So if we talk about the energy efficiency, we have a lot of technology that already implemented well in Indonesia, from the very modest technology like replacing the lamps to the waste heat recovery and cogeneration, as well as the absorption chiller, for example. We will be very happy if we can receive this kind of proposals for the energy efficiency. And we think that there are a lot of opportunities both for Indonesia private sectors and Japan private sectors to implement this kind of technologies. We have some experiences that in industries and in infrastructures that have been implemented by the JCM projects. We have found that the implementation was very good, and it can be replicated. So the JCM itself can be a kind of first implementer, and then with or without the JCM, the technology then can be implemented in Indonesia well. And the second is renewable energy. If we talk about renewable energy, so we are now receiving some proposal on the hydro, biomass, and solar. But unfortunately, until now, we have new regulation from the PLN that have a limitation for the solar, but we still discuss with the PLN on this matter. But we will receive any kind of the renewable technology as long as it will not be correlated with coal. So, for example, like the biomass co-firing, it will not be eligible for the JCM implementation because it will prolong the life of the coal. And the third, I also noticed that there are some questions about the RED Plus. or about the AFOLU, afforestation and land use change. In this matter, until now, the JCM Indonesia already implement one project on the RED Plus. This is on the Bualemo district in Gorontalo, but the project was withdrawn due to a new regulation of the government of Indonesia that the government would like to see all of the technology, but not the RED Plus, or but not the implementation of the LULUCF project in Indonesia, because it will be for the other scheme than the JCM. So yes, if you want to apply the JCM, it will be very easy. You can open our website, and there are a lot of step-by-step how to apply the JCM, including by using the global matchmaking process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dicky-san, for that. And I'd like to ask KUDO-san similarly, since I think there's a great interest in the audience. From your ministry's point of view, what are some of the technologies that you would like to see perhaps more in JCM in the coming years?
Yeah, thank you very much. So first of all, so during the presentation, we already received so many questions. Thank you very much for your interested in the JCM project. We strongly looking forward to your proposal about the JCM between Japan and Indonesia. So regarding the question, so from moderator, so in this year's financial program for the JCM model project, we set the 3 focus areas. The first area is the renewable energy. Second is the green logistics, including transportation. And third is the waste management infrastructure. So these 3 areas we focused. So regarding, especially in the Indonesia, there is no project about wind power and geothermal and green logistics and waste power generation so far. So in these areas, we hope so in that field. So the proposal. So we're looking for that type of proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So thank you, Dicky-san and KUDO-san, for taking that question. And perhaps we'll take another question for other speakers. And since we have you on the screen, Florian, Mr. Florian KITT from ADB, maybe we'll take up a question for you. Since we already have you on the screen. So I think there is a great interest among the audience about JCM in general and about the geothermal project in Indonesia. But I was wondering if you could tell us a little more about perhaps there are some areas or technologies that you would like to see applied for JCM projects in the future. Are there any areas that you have great expectations for? So yeah, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Kaoru. Welcome to everyone. Great hello around the virtual room. Hi, Dicky. Hi, KUDO-san and other friends. Let me first express the ADB's appreciation to the government of Japan for the great support provided to Indonesia and ADB projects here. It's very beneficial for us to avail ourselves of this funding opportunity, which really greatly helps reduce carbon emissions and upgrade technologies used in the country. We are currently, as you noted, Kaoru, working very closely with JCM on developing a geothermal project in Papua and upgrading the technology with JCM help. In my view, I mean, JCM, I would really like to apply it for most of our projects which are under the energy transition, especially to bring new technologies. I think given the still slow development of renewable energy in the country, we could make use of advanced solar PV and integrated battery storage systems on a, I think, large scale with automated AI included. That would be very, very helpful. I'm also just thinking off the cuff, thinking about artificial intelligence in transmission and grid distribution technology. I think grids are an under appreciated issue that we need to pay more attention to, especially upgrading technology to also reduce losses from the grid. Obviously, wind technologies and more forward-looking, I think, where we have great opportunities, but where more development is needed is hydrogen and wind. That would be not hydrogen and ocean energy. I think that would really be for the future. So I think we would need to do a bit of what other countries would already call bread and butter, solar and wind plus storage, and then looking forward, really bringing Japan's expertise also in hydrogen and looking towards the ocean wave technology. Let me stop here and thank you again for inviting me to comment.
Thank you. Thank you. It was great. It was packed with new ideas. I hope some people in the audience heard that and thought, oh, there are some ideas there. Maybe we'll look into it. And we would like to greatly encourage everyone to just contact us or ADB if you have any questions, ideas about projects that could be applied under JCM. So thank you very much for answering that question. And then I'd like to just take up one more question, perhaps, for Takahashi-san from Global Environment Center Foundation. Just quickly for the last question, let me look at it. Perhaps you can share what are some of the important points that you could share with everyone in the audience that will sort of contribute to creating or developing a successful JCM project.
Okay, thank you for asking. And one important point is the demand. There is a demand for reduction of energy, electricity or fuel that's directly related to the reduction of greenhouse gas in the country in Indonesia. And the second point, to have Japan's representative participant, to have a connection with Japan's representative participant. Maybe JCM global match is helpful for matchmaking. And third point is to make firm or steady project plan, foresee the risk and make contemplated schedule is important. Projects tend to delay due to some reason, as not to get permission as planned, rising cost, and so on. And there are things what we cannot control, like the weather, heavy rain, storm, typhoon, and earthquake, and so on. So having margin time as enough as possible is also required. And last thing is to have good communication channel between Japan and Indonesia. In some in case some accident occurs at the site, it might be helpful and useful to report and consult with party in Japan as soon as possible. So the communication is very important. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, thank you, Dicky-san, KUDO-san, KITT-san, Takahashi-san for coming back to the screen to answer the questions from the audience. So with that, I'd like to move on to the next session and just thank you for sending all the questions. If I didn't take up your question live, your questions have been answered on the Q&A window. So if you could go back and then see the answers for that. And for the audience who haven't sent us any questions, there are a lot of good information there as well. So I encourage everyone to go take a look over there.